Hey everyone, it's Jason and welcome to Star Trek Away Missions, the Battle of Wolf 359. This is part 3 where we're going to go over the Locutus, Unimatrix, the Borg faction. So if you haven't checked out part 1 for whatever reason, I go over the overview of the game and the components, all that fun stuff. Part 2, we went over the Federation and Riker's away team. We went through their character cards and their decks. And this one, we're going to go over the Borg. So in the Borg, we have Locutus's Unimatrix, which gives us 6 different characters. We have Locutus of Borg, who's our commander, who's also known as Picard, for those who aren't familiar. And then we have 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5, 4 of 5, and 5 of 5. So some more generic Borg characters. But they all look very distinct. And I love how the game, everything plays a little bit differently. So we're going to do this first of all. We're going to go ahead and look at the miniatures and the characters, and then we'll hop into the decks. So I'm going to start off with 1 of 5. I like the bases, have the little Borg ship on there. Each Borg has a little bit different things. Sometimes their eyepiece is on the left, sometimes it's on the right. Much like all the other figures in the set, they have a little bit more exaggerated upper torsos and heads to kind of keep them distinctive, but they kept the rest of the bodies kind of unique. And then each different hand has a different weapon. So she has kind of like, this looks like a she to me at least, has like a laser weapon in their arm. Then we're going to go ahead and we'll look at their specific character boards. Now, the Borg are a little bit different than the Federation in a couple of different ways. So we have 1 of 5 Borg Drone Scout, which dictates what it's kind of like its position is, and then the ship is the Cube 469. They don't have any of the specializations that the drone characters don't have any of the specializations that the Federation characters have, such as like commander or engineering, so they don't get extra dice rolls for doing extra stuff. I'm going to skip down here to their stats. They have 1 attack, 2 defense, 3 skill, and 2 movement. They don't, drones don't gain extra movement spaces as well, so they're not going to be able to move around nearly as much or as quick as the Federation characters or other classes. They generally don't have a lot of attack, but they do have pretty good skill. They're basically computers. They're good at playing with terminals and interacting with that. But where they come to be powerful is they have the assimilation tubulets. So it has an attack with 0 dice. There's 1 extra damage, which is going to help them. And they have assimilate and melee. So they have to be within 1 space away. But what assimilate does is if they neutralize an opponent, take out their last health pip, they actually then bring that character onto the team. And so basically how that works is we have these extra little drone boards, and then they go over. So if they assimilate Shelby, now they still have basically the same skill, which 1, 2, and 3, 2 movement spaces. They have Hive Mind, which all the other boards have. Simulation Kuba, so they can keep doing this over and over. But now they gain all these specialty stuff from them. So they gain all these extra abilities from assimilating characters. So it's actually kind of the way that they get better. Is they attack and assimilate other characters, add their skills to their own. Another really cool thing that the Borg did to do is a Hive Mind. Take actions other than move with a Borg drone instead of this Borg. So when it's 1 of 5's turn, he gets his 2 actions. He can opt to basically have any other Borg do a different action. So if you have a mission that requires someone to be at a security terminal and 1 of 5 is not at a security terminal, you could have a different character act instead. So it's kind of neat because they get the more characters they also get by assimilating them gives them more different actions and different stuff to do as well. But they can have guys spread across the board more. Where the Federation kind of might want to stick together and watch each other's backs, the Borg can definitely just spread across the entire thing. And if they have something where they have to perform a mission here and a mission there, they can have any character be there and ready to go. And then they also have Scout. So taking action to return the mission card to the mission deck and search for a Scout mission. She's been one. Excuse me. The Scout here can take an action to return a mission card to the mission deck to search for a special Scout mission. So there will be various missions that will say Scout on them, such as that. So it just lets them kind of tailor what deck they need to do. So early on in the game, when they have less characters, because they only start with two models on the board, miniatures at a time, this can let them specifically find what they need to complete wherever their characters are. If we flip this over and we read the back on here, it says Unimatrix Command 2678, Designation 105, Assignment Boarding Party, Target Engineering Module, Initiate Assimilation, Asset Resistance. So it's kind of just there to see what the heck's going on. Alright, then if we jump into 205 has all the exact same stuff. Board Scout, Drone, Hive Mind Scout, all of the same things. So let's take a look at their miniature quick. Now this one has its heads turn, a little bit other direction. Eyepieces on there, has a different type of laser cannon. Oh, that went way unfocused. There we go. Of course it says 2 on the back. So yeah, a little bit very, obviously your first 2 characters will be very distinctive from each other. On how they look and how they work. But yeah, otherwise, the 2 first drones have the exact same stats. So they're going to do the exact same things. They're just kind of there to see what's going on. See whether the threat is worth it. So here are the same, basically the same thing, on the exact same, just changes 1 of 5 to 2 of 5. Alright. Up next, we have 3 of 5. So we'll look at this one. So we have looks like another female character. Although I don't know board necessarily distinct between male and female anymore. But she's kind of got like a grabber arm, which is kind of cool. And 3 on the bottom, just in case. And now they're going to play a little bit differently. Not very much. So 3 of 5 is listed as a Borg assimilation drone as opposed to scout drone, but still a boarding drone at the top. Has assimilation cubulets, work the same way. Hive mind, same thing. But now it also has escalation too. So to play at the start of round 2. So at the beginning of round 2, 3 of 5 and 4 of 5 will come into place. Now you have 4 guys. And the fact that they can appear anywhere can give them a really good advantage, because they can appear next to whatever terminal or whatever bay or engineering or command center, wherever you need them to appear, or they could appear next to a Federation trooper or whoever you're fighting against, to give them a better chance to assimilate them. Same thing though, 1 attack, 2 defense, 3 skill. So it really only gives them 3 hit points, versus some of the Federation characters have 4 or 5 or 6. But the idea is they're supposed to be slowly trying to take over everybody else. So it gives them more advantage that way. On the back, a lot of the same exact stuff. Unimatrix Command 2688. So it's the next designation. 3 of 5, assignment. Locutus Communication, support target command module, assimilate biological entities. So they're supposed to be trying to focus more on assimilation. Then we have 4 of 5. I should be getting another guy. He's got like a buzzsaw. Oh, I hate that this doesn't just stay focused when I move this. Yeah, so it's definitely, again, they're going to stand out. Their weapons are going to help them stand out, maybe more than just looking at them. But they're definitely neat. So his will be basically the same as 3 of 5. Not too much different. Escalation, deploy at... Oh, he deploys at round 3. I'm sorry. So it's actually a good message up on the order. 4 of 5 and 5 of 5 popping at round 3. Otherwise I have the same thing. Borg assimilation drone, hive mind, escalation 3 then instead. Same exact stats. And on the back they get Unimatrix command 2689 designation 405 assessment. Resource failing to accept the simulation assignment. Forcefully install a simulation protocols. Target command module and assimilate computational resources. So kind of like the last draw. Then we have 5 of 5. It gets like a weird laser. A little bit different eye as well. It's kind of neat that some of the eyes are different instead of just always being circle. Hers has like kind of like a multi-targeting system in there. And then 5. And then hers should be basically the same as 4. And she also pops in at round 3. So these guys only get 1 action each. Like 1 round each to do stuff. But it could be that final little push that you need to finish the game up. Very interesting, right? And on the back side, you'll see the exact same thing as the last one. We're very close to it. 5 designation 89. 5 of 5. Biological maintenance module assimilate biological resources. So a little bit different. Then our final Borg character, which is the one that's vastly different, is Locutus. Also known as Commander Picard. So this is after he gets absorbed into the Borg. So he has a very distinctive look there. He has a extra big graspy claw. He's got a little bit of a headgear on instead of just the eyepiece. And then Locutus. I don't know why he's named Locutus necessarily. I guess I never really caught that as a thing. But he has a bunch of extra special stuff on his. So he is speaker for the Borg, Cube 469. He has command and diplomacy, so he actually gets some skills in there. He also has the commander, keyword, and counterpart. Which again, every ship needs at least a commander. He also has a simulation tubulets, but he has download. When Locutus activates, search the support deck for sub-command event and play it as a free action. So he gets to start off with something. Hive Mind and Escalation 2. So he deploys at the start of round 2. So round 1, you have 1 of 5 and 2 of 5. Round 2, you get 3 of 5 on Locutus. And then round 3, you get 4 and 5 of 5. Very interesting. It'd be neat if they ever come out with more Borgs. Enlisting different ones there. There's been a lot, obviously, you got like Queen Borg. I know she's part of the next series, but you have like 5 of 9. And stuff like that. But she's also part of the Federation. But that'd be interesting to have some different stuff there. On the back of his card, he has I am Locutus Borg. Resistance is futile. Your life, as it has been, is over. From this time forward, you will service us. Unimatrix Command 1184. Retrieve and assimilate Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Assimilate upload. Federation distinctiveness data uploaded. Federation assimilation required diplomat. Unimatrix Command 1215. New assimilation protocol. Create speaker drone. Designation Locutus Borg. Assigned command protocol. So he kind of sends them in there to talk. The other Borgs just kind of sit there and do their stuff, and then he's kind of the one that gets to act. Alright. Now let's jump into what they actually get to do during the game. So their core mission, we have distinctiveness. Score 30 points. Your Borg drones have 6 or more different specializations among them at the end of the game. So what you need though is it has to be a drone. Now, the speaker of the Borg is not a drone. So he doesn't gain drones. So they actually have drones listed on them. What you can do though is what you need to do is actually commandeer these guys. And then they become drones. all it doesn't specify drone on there. Kind of been good if it said like drone like up here, just as an extra thing. But it's basically you need to command assimilate a bunch of different guys. It could be 2 guys or 3, or it could be 3 guys, if they have less stats. Alternatively, assimilate ship. Reach a simulation room mission in your scoring area at the end of the game. So yeah, we have different ones that say missions. It will say assimilate room. Trying to see if I can find one. I see assimilate being and assimilate ship. I think they mean assimilate ship. As being assimilate room. Same idea. So there's some different ones there. Alright, then let's head in and look at your deck. We're going to look at the mission cards first. And look at the ones from the starter set, and then we'll jump into the extra ones, and then we'll switch over. So these are our missions. So we have 2 copies with our Supply 2. Supply 2 means that you can have up to 2 copies of that card in your deck. Now, with a starter deck, they might not both be listed in there. As future expansions come out, they might not even have. Cards might have Supply 2 or 3 listed, but that deck might not have 2 or 3 because they might have been in a previous deck. It just also means it's the most you can have in that deck. Alright, add biological distinctiveness. Interrupt. Score this card when you simulate a hostile character. Scores 10 points. Very simple. Analyze command capability. Take a command skill test at a command terminal in the bridge. If passed, score this card. Bonus. Search the mission deck for a simulate the bridge card. So this can be one that scout character could discard their first action, discard a card to find this, and then they could use this to scout that, gain their 5 points, right? And then search the deck right away for a bridge card and be ready to do the next thing. They're kind of like a little thing. Analyze defensive capabilities. Take a security skill test at command terminal in the armory. If passed, score this card. Bonus, search for the simulate the armory card. Analyze engineering capabilities. Take an engineering skill test at operations in engineering. Score the card. Search the mission deck for an simulate engineering card. Analyze medical capabilities. Take a medical skill test at the sick bay. If passed, score search for assimilate sick bay. So it's kind of like, again, they're building up. If you have these cards right away, probably pretty easy 5 points. Especially because all the board have 3 skills, so they're going to get to roll 3 dice at bare minimum. But then added into the fact that they can, stack this to get ready to find the next card. Or the scouts can use their ability to find these cards to then, keep going. Analyze scientific capability. Take a science skill test at a science terminal in the science lab. Bonus, search the mission deck for a simulate science lab. Alright, now we're going to get the ones that are going to find those. You have a simulate armory. Play this card on the table. So that costs you 1 action to do. Take a security test at the command terminal in the armory. Put the assimilation token on this card for each success. Interrupt. Score this card when it has 5 or more assimilation tokens. Bonus, gain an adapt token when you score this card. So we have little assimilation tokens here. And our adapt tokens, which we'll get. So yeah, these are going to take a little bit more planning to do. But again, the idea can be you could have one of your characters play another card to find this card, and you could have another guy already sitting at that area ready to do it, and then so on like round 2 when you have 3 characters, the first guy can go ahead and perform the skill test, right? He take his 2 actions, perform skill test at the armory, and then he can have the, he succeeded 3 times. Great, he's 3 of 5. Then when the next player comes, they can use that hive mind to have that guy activate again. So it's not like you have to wait till the next turn. You could potentially, how well you roll, you could actually succeed on this in 2 or 3 like actions very quickly, and that's how they kind of work. Is that they're gonna have to work together to like one guy will have to use their action with somebody else, but they can do a lot more with this. Here's a simulate the bridge. Take a command skill at the command terminal on the bridge. Put in a simulation token on this when it's 5 or more. Score this. Gain a gap token when you score this card. Assimilate engineering, same idea. Operation terminal with engineering. Put in a simulation token. Gain a gap token. This gets you 40 points though. Assimilate science lab. Put a science skill test on science terminal in the science lab. And then also keep in mind that we do have the assimilation ship. Reach the simulation room card in your scoring at the end of the game, getting 10 extra points. So if you're playing that with these, now you're saying these aren't 25 points, these are 35 points, which could be very, very good at winning the game. Assimilate the sick bay. Take a medical skill test at the medical terminal in the sick bay. Alright, here we have one a little bit differently. Calibrate warp matrix. Take an engineering skill test at the operations terminal in engineering. Put a simulation token. 5 or more, score this token. You don't gain any bonus for that one. Connect nodes. Take an engineering skill test at operations and main corridor. Put in a simulation token on this for each success. Interrupt scores. Has 3 or more simulation tokens. Getting a gap token when you score this card. Establish gateway. Play us on the table. Taking engineering skill test at the operation terminal and engineering. Simulation tokens. Score when you have 7 or more tokens on it. Nullify resistance. Take a security skill test at operation terminal. Put in a simulation token on this card for each success. Interrupt. Score this card when it's 3 or more simulation tokens. Respond to incursion. Play when a friendly board drone character is neutralized. Take a security skill test with any board character. If passed, score this card. Bonus, when neutralized board drone was not assimilated, if the neutralized drone was not assimilated, return it to the play in the same space with no activation, damage, or condition tokens, then give that drone a stun token. So unless somebody else reassimilates him, you can have this guy come back, which is very, very mean. We have 2 copies of that. We have scan defensive systems. Take a security skill test at command terminal in the armory. Scores when it's 3 or more assimilation tokens. And then we have we will adapt. Scores card at the end of the game if you have 6 or more adapt tokens. So those are the base ones you get to start with. Then we do have some that came from this after the starter deck, which you can swap out to. We have 2 copies of Adapt to Service Us. Interrupt. Score this card if you have assimilated 2 or more hostile characters. Bonus gaining an Adapt token. Add a technological distinctiveness. Take an engineering skill test at a terminal and putting a simulation token on this card for each success. When this card has 4 or more simulation tokens, score it. Bonus gaining a gap token when you score this card. Expand Transwarp Network. So yeah, one that's going to pay attention is lots of these have the action, you have to play them on a table. So you have to spend 1 action to play these, and you have to spend action to perform these. Lots of the Federation stuff just has do this, and then you win. So they did go a little bit faster, but again, the thing with the boards is you could have, if you have 6 actions between all your characters, you could have 1 character take 6 actions on this card to try and beat it. Versus the Federation, you try it once, if you fail, that card goes away, and you have to do something different. Well, these guys could keep failing these over and over because it just stays on the table until it's done. Take the engineering skill test at Operation Terminal in Transporter Room. When it's 5 or more assimilation tokens, score it. Expedite Aptitude Dissemination. Take the command skill test at Command Terminal on the bridge. When there's 3 or more assimilation tokens, score. Function as 1. Score this card at the end of the game if you have 5 or more sub-command events cards in play. So this will gain you bonuses if you have that. So it just sits in your hand. Neutralize concealment systems. Take a science skill test at the science lab. Which 5 or more assimilation tokens. Optimize cybernetic components. Take a medical skill test at the medical terminal in sick bay. Has 3 or more assimilation tokens. Reabsorb damaged biological components. Play only your board characters with 1 or more implant equipment cards as neutralized. Take a medical skill test with another friendly board. If passed, score this card. Bonus, move all the implanted equipment cards from a neutralized board to the board character taking the skill test. Interesting. And then we have a second copy of those. So those are our different mission cards. So a lot of stuff is just playing those assimilation tokens over and over. And then getting the adapt tokens, which we'll see what the adapt tokens do with the event cards. Alright, let's look at this support card. Just want to show off that full symbol there. I did have to quick look up about the assimilate tokens, because there's only so many of them. I think there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. And some of the cards have, require 3, some have 4. And my initial thought was probably like, well, what if you run out? And there's nothing in the rulebook that states that one direction or the other. So I went to Board Game Geek quick just to look that up, because I was like, well, maybe there's some rule I'm missing that says, like, if you run out, you can't do anything. Because I think the idea is, again, if you're supposed to have 5 tokens, is that you're going to use that hive mind to have another character activate again just to finish it up and then go to the next one. But like somebody did point out, you might get lucky enough to have your guys in 2 separate areas with enough dice that one could roll and start one mission, one could start the next mission, and you might not have enough tokens. So you might have to substitute tokens if you want, unless you want to play some sort of version where you only have X number of tokens. But there's nothing that states one way or the other. So I just want to show that. Alright, so here we have their support cards. Now, they're going to give us a lot of permanent events in here. Also some sub-commands. So we have Resistance is Futile. Place this card on the table. When taking a move action, you may instead place an activated board on any space, then give it a stun token. So this is kind of cool. This is going to let them move around the board a lot quicker. So guy needs to be at the command terminal in the command center, finishes up a mission, and then now we really need him to be prepped over in sick bay. You could spend an action to move him to sick bay. He's going to have a stun token, so you have to spend an extra action to undo that. But again, with Hive Mind, you can have everyone tossing other things over at him and then having him do that instead of having him try and move across the board, especially when they have only 2 movement. So you'll be playing around with that a lot. We have Resistance is Hopeless, number 1. All hostile characters roll 1 less die when making skill tests to a minimum of 1 die when they're within 2 spaces of your board characters. Hostile Federation characters within 2 spaces of your Locutus or board roll 2 less dice instead. Ooh, so this is gonna make them hard to compete tests. Kind of get like unnerved. We are the board. Your board characters all have the specialization of all other friendly board characters in the mission area already have. It's just kind of neat. So that way, if like one of your characters has even like Locutus starts out with like commanding diplomacy, now all the other board characters can have that. As in definitely shares, as each character gains more specializations using the adapt tokens, which we will get into. They will be able to spread it along, and then now they can start rolling more and more dice. Being that they already roll 3 to begin with, that gives them up to 4. So we have, we will add your distinctiveness. Adapt. If you have 2 or 3 adapt tokens, your board characters roll 1 additional defense dice. Nice. And if you have 4 more adapt tokens, your board characters all roll 2 additional defense dice as well. So again, we're trying to complete them other missions to gain adapt tokens. So again, focusing on 1 versus spreading out between 3 or 4 missions to help you get these adaptive tokens quicker so you can use his extra abilities. You will be assimilated. Adapt. If you have 2 or 3 adapt tokens, your attack actions with assimilate weapons add +1 damage. So you're going to assimilate quicker. If you have 4 or more, they do 2 damage instead. Your life has been, as it has been, is over. Play this card on the table. When gaining an adapt token, whenever a friendly board drone is neutralized. So one of your guys is taking out, at least you gain an extra adapt token out of it. Now, the thing is, you're going to have a bunch of these. If you get a bunch of permanent events out, they're just going to compile on top of each other. We have adaptive analysis. Before rolling dice to take a skill test, roll 1 additional dice for the skill test. Adapt. If you have 2 or more adapt tokens, roll 2 dice instead. Again, make them even easier to complete these. And when some of these things you need 3 or 4 successes, also now if you're rolling 4 or 5 dice, you have a lot higher chance of completing them in one shot versus having to do it 2 or 3 times. We have 2 copies of Eliminate Threat. Play before rolling an attack dice when you're taking attack action. Add 1 die for each adapt token you have to a maximum of 3 additional dice. This could definitely let you assimilate someone like very quickly. We have 2 copies of Death is Irrelevant. Return a neutralized board drone character to a play space adjacent to this board character. Move all activation, damage, and conditions from this board token, then give it a stun board drone, then give it a stun token. So yeah, the guys aren't very strong. Like, right, they only have, technically, they only have 3 health. They can only take 3 pips of damage. And they can't get stunned by the Federations. It's interesting. All the Federation weapons typically have stun. Boards can't get stunned. They just take damage. It's not like neutralizing their systems type of thing. So they're going to get defeated a lot quicker. That's why they need to assimilate quicker than they get defeated. And then we have negate obstacle. During a skill test or an action, opposing an action skill, change any one of your die rolls to show a 4, so it automatically succeeds. Adapt. If you have 4 or more adapt tokens, change all your skill dice to show 4. Now this can be very good for unchallenged actions, right? All of a sudden, boom, everything succeeds no matter what. Then we have a bunch of equipments. They get a lot more equipment than some of the other factions. Biological regeneration implant. May only be played on a board character. This character gains a medical specialization. So these are where the adapt tokens come in. So now I equip this, now this character has medical specialization. When you have 3 or more adapt tokens, this character gains an additional die when making medical skill tests. These are implants that'll help your characters out. Assimilate armature. Now assimilating armature gives you +1 attack for your dice, +2 damage, assimilate, and melee. Adapt. If you have 4 or more adapt tokens, it adds 3 damage instead. So you're doing 5 damage with this attack. I think even the highest Federation character, which has the most pips, is Data, who has 7. So you could almost take out Data in one shot. And like someone like Shelby, who only has 4, easily probably take her out. And we do get 2 copies of that one. Command interface implant. Character gains a command specialization. We have 3 or more adapt tokens. This character rolls an additional die when making a command skill test. The neural processor. Character gains science specialization. If you have 3 or more adapt tokens, gains an additional die when making science skill tests. Personal shield. Effect. Roll 1 additional die when defending against an attack action. Adapt. If you have 4 or more, roll 2 dice instead. The tactical server aperture. Gains security specialization. If you have 3 or more tokens, gains an additional die when making security tests. And our final main deck, starter deck, is Technology Assimilation Implant. Gains engineering specialization. You have 3 or more, gains an additional engineering die. So definitely these can make these guys pretty crazy. Our non-starter deck stuff is we have activate subcommand, 2 copies of this. Search your support deck or discard for a subcommand event, put it into play as a free action. 2 copies of Assimilate Opposition. Play before rolling attack dice. When you take an attack action with an Assimilate weapon, your attacks gain +1 damage. If you have 3 or more adapt tokens, gain 2 instead. Discussion is irrelevant. Play before opponent rolls dice when a hostile character attempts a diplomacy skill test. The diplomacy skill test fails. Just shut it down. Don't have to challenge it. Freedom is irrelevant. Play when you neutralize or assimilate a hostile character. Draw support cards and you have 5 support cards in your hand. Negate interface. Challenge a skill test taken by a hostile character with a Borg drone. To challenge whoever. Negate threat. Play when a hostile character completes an attack action against one of your Borg characters. Your Borg character was not neutralized. They take a free attack action against a hostile character. Oh boy. Preparation is irrelevant. Play before an opponent rolls dice when a hostile character takes a skill action or opposes a skill action. Hostile character uses a number of dice rolled and skill test by 1 for each adapt token up to a minimum of 1 die. Neural electric energy transfer. Transfer up to 2 damage tokens from any friendly board to another board character. Oh, that's pretty cool, right? That guy's about to die, but we need him over there. Just shift the damage. Provide auxiliary processing. Play before rolling die with taking a skill action or opposing a skill action. All friendly board drone characters take 2 additional dice. Add 2 additional dice instead of 1 when backing up a friendly board character. So this is a reason to keep them together, right? You know, something like that. Reprioritize. Pick a friendly board drone character that has escalation number greater than the current round. Place a character in any space they no longer have the escalation rule. Ooh. Quick summon. That could be really mean. Scout objective. Search your mission deck or discard pile for a scout mission. Self-determination is irrelevant. Play during attack or skill action by a hostile character or when opposing a skill action. Or a hostile character opposes a skill action. Change one of your opponent's dice rolled to show a 4. Adapt. If you have 4 or more adapt tokens, change all their skill tests to show 4. It's interesting. So it's still going to make them possibly they can block you or finish, but 4 is easier to beat than 6s and 5s. So it's kind of interesting. You must comply. Play before rolling die when you take a skill test or opposing a skill test. Add 1 additional skill dice for each adapt token you have to a maximum of 3. Alright. Now, like, I did check the other tokens. The, assimilate tokens. I'd say, if you run out, add more. Because it's kind of just to, like, hold the spot to show them when you have until you got it done. So you could argue that. Or it could be like, hey, you only have X amount of energy to put into this. You could, I would say adapt tokens, though. You can only play with the number you have in the game. So once you reach, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12. If you somehow get over 12, I wouldn't add any extra tokens for it. And I'd say the 2 reasons for that would be 1, most things only require up to 3 or 4. I haven't seen anything that's really required more adapt tokens than that. And then 2 is because even the ones that do say up to the number, they usually add up to 3 or 4 dice anyhow. So once you have probably past 4, you probably don't have to worry about it too much. We have some equipment. We have a data node. When you place equipment, roll 2 dice and choose to put 1 on this card. Interrupt, discard this card to remove 1 of the activated board character's dice and results replace it with 1 on this card. When you place equipment card, roll 2 dice and choose 1. Oh, so you just save this for a later turn. That's pretty sweet. We have 2 copies of Electromagnetic Eyepiece. When this character takes an attack action or skill test, you may reroll 1 dice. You may use this reroll only once per action. Adapt. If you have 4 or more adapt tokens, you may reroll up to 2 dice instead. Neural. Ooh, I might drop these down. We ran out of room. Neural Electric conduct. Take a medical skill test. If passed, this or an adjacent board character either recovers 1 damage for each success or removes 1 condition token. And then finally, we have a Neural Transmitter. When you play this equipment card, roll a die and put it on this card. Interrupt. Move 1 of this character's die results and replace it with 1 of this card. Move any dice from this card to roll a die and put it on this card. Interesting. Alright, so some really cool stuff there. They're going to be, like, the Federation, okay, look at them, they're going to have their different things they're going to do. The Borg are going to be all about trying to place adapt tokens over time, like using the hive mind to kind of focus on 1 mission at a time, get them adapt tokens so that then they can basically just make all their things succeed even better, and then alternatively, trying to assimilate other characters. Again, now if they ever make a second set of Borg, they kind of want to focus maybe more on assimilation, less on the other stuff, or give them a third option of something different they're trying to do. It could be very interesting on some different things they could do. One thing I do find interesting is I watch of cards on here that say may only be played on a Borg character, which I do find interesting in the fact that this is a Borg deck, so why wouldn't every character be a Borg, right? Isn't that just the inherent yeah, because it says assimilate characters become Borg characters and have the rating of Borg drone, but retain their things. So you assimilate a character becomes a Borg. Other things become Borg. So it's like, if all your characters in the Borg set are Borg, why would you have to have a specialization on a card that says has to be played on a Borg character? I get, like, in the Federation, had cards that say only Riker could use these. Makes sense. You know, he's a commander. You could have something if they had, like, a Locutus could only use a card. It would make sense. Like, certain characters can only use certain cards. But it says only be played on a Borg. So I'm wondering if at some point in the future there's going to be a way to, like, mix and match decks together. Like, maybe you might have a Borg/Federation deck. And then if you mix them together, now, okay, these cards can only be played on that. So they're not going to be as effective in a mixed deck. Or if they might have a character that's part of the Borg that's not actually a Borg. Like, later on, they might add somebody else that's not considered to be a Borg character. And then they wouldn't work with them. Like, if there's a non-Borg that's working with the Borg, might be interesting. Yeah, so you kind of need to see if they have some different things like that going on in the future. Alright, that is what we have for our Star Trek away missions. This is the core set. Again, go back, check out Federation if you haven't for some reason, check out that. Also, keep an eye for the future videos of the Romulan and Klingon expansions, as well as future expansions that come out. See you guys later. Bye.